Justin Herbert is, in our power ratings, worth 7.5 points above a replacement level quarterback towards the spread. That is tied for third in the NFL, okay, with 3 other guys.
Yeah.
But among all of those players that are in the top 5 quarterbacks, the Los Angeles Chargers are the lowest power ranked team. And when I saw that going into today, I was like, that's really interesting because I really like their team. I like Brandon Staley. I like their offensive weapons. I like their defensive players. But I thought it showed in this game where maybe they aren't as strong when Justin Herbert isn't making incredible play after incredible play. That was, I mean, it was shocking.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it was really alarming that how little they were open on plays, and how much the Ravens, were able to fluster them. I mean, they had 6 points. Talking about 6 points. They had the 17 or 20. I can't remember how much it was. They had 20, and then they had 17, I think, in games 1 and 2. So we have not seen them necessarily explode every single game, but then they, sort of were really high scoring the last 3 games. 6 there. Very impressive by Baltimore. Baltimore, who we went into the week having as our 4th rated power rate, 4th highest rated team. I think it just goes up here, obviously. Kansas City took care of business, covered the spread. It wasn't the most pretty thing in the world. And Tampa Bay won on a short week against Philly. Buffalo plays tonight. So, Baltimore still probably 4th, maybe leapfrogs Kansas City a little bit, but very impressive by John Harbaugh's bunch. It's funny how a week 1 loss against the Raiders doesn't really matter that much anymore. Like two teams in our top 4, bad losses in week 1 have seemed to gone away.
Yeah, boy, that Steelers victory over the Bills looks
weird.
Really interesting. I struggled with this one. I gave the tie to, I think, the quarterback that made the biggest statement today, and I think that was Kyler Murray. So I'm going to give the Cardinals the more impressive victory because it was on the road, because they were an underdog. And this is not to take anything away from the Ravens, who I believe are, we've been waiting for this Lamar Jackson, and I'm excited for the playoffs to get here. Like, I really hope they're healthy when they get there. But what the Cardinals have done and what Kyler Murray has done is something that's really cool. What did we say all offseason? All offseason we said Kyler Murray is really great, but he needs to improve in one key area. You said it. He needs to hit more doubles. What we mean there is that he needs to be better throwing the ball to the intermediate area of the field, the 10 to 19 range down the field. So let's take a look. 2019, his PFF grade throwing into the intermediate area of the field, 53.4. Passer rating, 61.3. 2020, PFF grade, mid-70s. Passer rating, throwing to the intermediate area of the field, is again in the 60s, 68.4. So far this season, his PFF grade throwing to the intermediate area of the field is 93.2. His passer rating is 140.1. That's really freaking cool.
And we talked about this on the pregame show too. It's like, you know why that, like the cool thing about this team, you know how many targets DeAndre Hopkins had today? It was like 4 or 5, right?
Yep.
This team is
They're not force feeding him.
They're not unloading the clip this year.
Yep.
Kyler's not running that much, right? He's not running as much as he did last season per game. They're not throwing nearly, like Hopkins was getting 30% of the targets last year. It's like more like 16, 17, 18 now. And so like you remember that game when Houston beat Buffalo in the playoffs, when the first half of the game Tre'Davious White was like really shadowing Hopkins, in the second half they put Hopkins in slot and they just peppered him the rest of the game. There's going to be a game when somebody has Cliff figured out, Kyler figured out. And what they can
COVID figured him out this week.
Yeah. And what they can do now is just pepper Hopkins when they're desperate, right? Whereas in previous seasons, or last season, their first season together, he was already throwing him the ball too much, and they couldn't like go off of that, right? Now they at least have some spread out offense. It's Christian Kirk one week, it's Rondale Moore other weeks, X, Y, and Z. Like, good on them. Like, I'm pretty excited about, sort of the direction that's going.
Yeah, again, Kyler had a hurt shoulder. You go into the game, you go, man, so reliant on him making special plays. The fact that he has improved so much as a passer, year over year over year now, is why he's the front runner, probably with Josh Allen, depending on what happens tomorrow, for MVP. But I'm giving Kyler the MVP now. I gave it to Justin Herbert last week. I reserve the right to change every single week. And this week, it's Kyler Murray. And what he's done in games where he's been facing really good competition has been impressive. And this was another one of those.